everybody, welcome back. And so today we're actually going to be answering some questions from you guys. And of course, once again, I do have Amber with us. Hey, Amber.
Hello.
So this is from Sushina. I'm not going to give the full YouTube name. Hi, Astral Ivory. I enjoy your videos. For the next video, can you please ask Amber if there is a parallel universe where Marvel character Thanos exists, and if there is a parallel universe where Godzilla exists? Also, is there a parallel universe where Star Wars is real? Thank you. Let's find out.
Okay. There is a being similar to Thanos. He's like on another world and he's a little bit lonely. They're similar in terms of personality, mannerisms. He's a little bit more, I don't want to say like caveman-esque, but he's not as put together. He's like a little bit more
I'm kind of familiar, but that guy, is he the one that wanted to like take over the entire universe? Is it that guy?
yeah, that wanted to start over. Started over.
Start over. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I mean, this guy doesn't necessarily have the same story by any means, but I feel like there's actually a couple being similar just in presence. There is a parallel universe where there is a guy who's essentially trying to do what Thanos wanted, where it is kind of like starting everything over, so he went crazy a little bit trying to take over everything. So there is a guy like that, but it's not, due to rules of free will, it's not something that can happen. So it's not something that he can get away with. He's essentially, like, the closer he gets, the more things come up to stop him in his tracks. However, he's not this, like, great big monster man.
Was this also affecting Earth? Like, were we affected in that reality, or is it another planet?
It feels very familiar, so it feels like Earth, but it looks more like an alien high-tech city.
Uh-huh.
So if it's like a parallel universe where technology clicked and technology just, like, really skyrocketed more than it did in our current timeline. Technology was a different focus. I feel like they were able to somehow get their hands on some kind of material that we can't get our hands on currently, which kind of helped them leap more. So it could be a different world. I'm not completely sure. In terms of Godzilla, there is a planet with giant lizard guys like Godzilla, so they look like him. This is like an alien planet. But they're kind of more, they're a lot more docile. And the beings there, it's like they take care of them. They're their pets. They're very tame. Like they're very calm and they're just like walking around. But the beings are probably about the same size as us. Maybe a little smaller. But yeah, and they just kind of, they're like dogs. They're like their version of dogs. There are other planets that have big monsters similar to Godzilla. It's kind of like how we were in like the prehistoric times.
Were they also calm and docile?
No, those aren't. Those are a little bit more, a bit aggressive. I don't really feel them ever really coming into the same plane, though. Now, with Star Wars, there's no specific like magical like, oh my gosh, this is exactly the story being told like 100% to a T. You know, I feel like there are a lot of aspects that are definitely true to certain areas or certain beings.
I'm not too familiar with Star Wars. I mean, I've seen, I think, one of them. But I know they had like, they have like R2D2 and they have Chewbacca. Do they have beings like that? Like similar to those guys and Luke Skywalker? And
there's one parallel where I don't know if it's like an astronaut. Somehow we created this like interesting kind of ship that doesn't really look like the way rocket ships look, and through that they were able to go a little bit further than we currently are, because we haven't been able to go that far at all. But through the ship they are. They had a meet with a group of people similar, so it was like a mishmash. There are a lot of other planets that do have a mix of species.
So they all came together. What was their purpose?
In that world, there's a lot more space exploration happening because they saw things. They saw other beings. So the group of people, I feel like it was, there was some kind of emergency or something, and they needed some kind of They had a specific mission where they either needed to find somebody or something. It was just like a very quick, like, we need to get there as soon as possible, you know?
Okay.
Which I think part of the reason why they weren't, sorry, I interrupted you, worried about, like, concealing themselves or whatever. It was just like, we gotta go, like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Okay, because it was that important. It wasn't about trying to be secretive.
Yeah.
So if this was a different reality,
Uh-huh.
so in the current reality, was there something that we did that triggered that? Was it maybe walking on the moon? Was it something that paralleled that we did here? Or is it just completely just more advanced, completely different?
There are multiple, it's like our timelines are almost like pinched at certain places until it just started like shooting out in different directions. So there are like a couple situations where it was similar. We have a similar history up to around the time that they started first making rockets. The only difference was one individual. So when they landed on the moon, they took samples of the soil back with them, and then those soil samples were tested in labs. So it was essentially they were testing for organic matter. Essentially, they saw things. They were using various techniques to test it. So it allowed more of the nation's funding to go into that over other things.
Just
Yeah.
from that simple change in thought process, shifting the thinking. Okay. Okay, very interesting. Cool. Alrighty. So we'll go on to another question. I don't know.